Okay, hello everyone. It's 9 o'clock, even 9:01, and we are ready to start our informal meetup, conference, whatever you call it. And I want to say thank you to all of you who joined us and supported us. And I want to thank all our speakers. We've got, I don't know even how many exactly, 16 or 17 speakers who agreed to support our initiative and said that, okay, we can do it. And it took only a few hours just to put together today's event. Okay, if you are a speaker, or if you are, even if you are not a speaker, so there is a question about the sound. Can you all hear me? Or is it only Yelena's problem on Yelena's side? Mm-hmm. Okay, you can hear. Yelena, can you check your no sound? Okay, so I think that might be a problem on the side of the person. Great sound. Okay, just check where the sound is coming out from your device. Usually you need just to press this microphone icon and So I think it depends on the device. So microphone icon, and just check if the sound goes to your headphones, or is it like speakers or anything else. Okay, so if you want to share some ready-made materials, or if you are a speaker today, you can put all the information, you can share all the information with our participants today in our Telegram chat, which we just created some time ago, and all slides which you want to share with the audience, and all the videos which we will have, we will put into this chat. Okay, yeah, and I muted everyone. Okay, yeah, I can see. Yeah, we've got like about 5 minutes now just to adjust all our devices, because the first talk will be in 5 minutes, and it will be me. Okay, let me just check something. I'm just checking something on the other side as well. Okay. Yes, you are all muted. So the idea is, as there are a lot of people here, and sometimes when you start, when you enter the conference, and there are some surrounding sounds which can just affect the speaker's performance. That's why everybody is muted, but you can use the chat to write something in, and all the speakers, of course, will be unmuted. Okay, they will be able to talk. Once again, if you can't hear me, that means that there is something wrong with the sound, with the settings on your device. Go to that icon. If you are on a laptop or computer, go to that icon of a microphone in the left bottom corner, and check where the sound is coming, just to make sure that you can hear everything. Yeah, it's just don't worry if you are muted, so it was supposed to be here. Once again, we've got a Telegram chat, and in this chat, we are going to put all the materials of today's conference. And if you want to ask any questions, so you can type them in the chat. And we have one rule for today. We are not discussing the current situation, and we talk about teaching our students and how we can make our how we can make our lessons efficient next week, and how we can make your life easier. And I hope that today lots of speakers will be able to share lots of low prep, ready to go materials and ideas which you can use next week. Okay, and today we are going to work till I think 3:30 p.m. There'll be a short break between each talk, like 5 minutes, just to switch another speaker. And at about 1 o'clock, we are going to have like a half an hour break, a lunch break, so that you could have an opportunity just to grab some food and not to stuff. Okay, the link to our Telegram chat is here in the link. Okay, yeah, and so I can give you the link. Okay, so I'm going to be, I think, if everybody is sad, if everything is okay now, if everybody can hear me and can see me, I think I can start. And I'm going to be the first speaker today. My name is Elena Peresada, and I run Trendy English and Trendy English Games companies. And also I'm an English teacher and game educator. And so if you've never been with Trendy English before, so our main mission is just to spread new ideas, innovative ideas, and maybe not only innovative ideas, any ideas in teaching English. And as we are passionate about games, we also talk a lot of games and game-like activities. Okay. So I'm going to share my presentation now, to start sharing my presentation. And today I will be talking about speaking activities which you can, which I use with which are used with my students. And okay, I have and my students who are B1 level now, so they're quite happy about them. And I hope that this is something which you will find helpful for your lessons. Okay, so the first activity I'm going to talk about, so I call it like picture spider diagram. I don't know if it has got any original names, but so this is what I call it in my practice. And I use this activity when I need to brainstorm some ideas with my students and to generate discussions. You know, if you work with teenage students, they're very reluctant to express any ideas. Can you put plus in the chat if you agree with me? And it will help me to check that you can hear me. Okay, yeah, quite often teenagers, and actually I've got a group of teenage boys who are all 13, and the answer which they give to any question I ask is yes, no, okay, it's okay. And it's been always very difficult for me just to think of any techniques which can really make them speak. And just imagine, I can have a topic in my course book, balanced diet, and they have to express some ideas on this topic. And of course, they have no ideas, even if they were willing to say anything, probably they don't have any ideas and they don't know what they can say. And it is very difficult for any person to think in terms, well, to think with words. Visuals work much better. That's why we do with them this picture spider diagram. Here on this picture, you can see a brick. in the center of the picture. And actually the task in the course book was to think of as many possible uses of the brick as possible. So how can you use this brick? Can you come up with any creative ideas? So what we do, each person gets a piece of paper or gets a page in a Jamboard. And on each page, I have the center picture of a brick, or I can have a word balanced diet in the center of this piece of paper. And then each person gets his own page, and he has to draw something, or he or she, they have to upload an image which comes to their mind with any idea which comes to their mind. It's much easier to work with images, as I said. And then when they are ready with their page, they pass it around to the next person, and they draw something on the next page. So here on this slide, you can see an example of another brainstorming activity, which I did with teachers of English when we discussed with them what team building means to them. And again, each person could get a piece of paper, and they had to start with one image. Then they pass this piece of paper to another person, and they draw something else or upload another image on the other piece of paper. And it goes on like this. And the idea is that you can't, I'm very sorry, so it's just my laptop is about to die, and I didn't know that electricity wasn't working. Okay, I'm fine. The idea is that you can't, you draw only one image on one piece of paper, and you can't repeat yourself, and you can't repeat others. And then at the end, you have got a lot of posters with maybe some crazy pictures on them. And this is a very good start for discussion. Okay, you are ready to discuss when you see these pictures and you don't understand what they mean. So students, they start asking questions, and they are genuinely interested in what's going on. When they had a look at this first poster, so the first question, of course, was about that gorilla ape. So what does it have to do with the brick, and how the brick can be used in connection to gorilla? And the answer was, well, actually, this is a robo gorilla, and its teeth are made of bricks. And so you see, people's first of all, they have more ideas when they draw, and when you draw as soon as you are ready with one picture and with another picture, and then you start thinking deeper and deeper and deeper, and very interesting ideas come to your mind. And of course, it is very interesting to discuss them. And if we have a look at this poster, of course, the question which each teacher was interested in was, what about that person, the photo of that person on this slide? And I don't know if you know who this person is in this slide and how he is connected to team building. Maybe you can write something in the chat, and if you know the name of this person, maybe you can give his name. Okay. So if you don't know, yeah, Makarenko. Okay, yeah, thank you. Makarenko, and of course, he did lots of things. Yeah, that's right. This is Makarenko, and of course, we know that he is connected to team building, and he was one of the pioneers of all these ideas, how to put individuals together and how to make them work together and to be happy with one another. Okay, so this is the first activity which I was going to talk with you about. And also I want to share one more activity with you today, and we will have a chance to practice it. I will unmute some people who will take part in this activity. So this is the game. Well, actually, it's not a game. It's a game-like activity, which I liked playing when I was a university student, and I liked playing it with my with my friends, just for fun. And I think that this is a perfect activity for fluent speaking and for all kinds of monologues. So actually, so this is these are the rules. We need a few people to take part in this activity. If you want to play it right now with me, can you put one in the chat and I will unmute you, and I will take the first 5 people to take part in it. We have got 1 volunteer, Alena. Okay, probably 4 more people can join us. You will be unmuted, and for some time you will be put into a breakout room, and then okay, okay, I have got 2 people, Alena and Elena. Okay, 3 more people. Any other volunteers? Okay, Tatiana is ready. Okay, 2 more volunteers. I'll start unmuting you. Okay, well, actually, the more people take part in this activity, the better. If we have 1, 2, 3, okay, I have got 4 at the moment. Alena, Elena, Marina, and Tatiana. Okay, so once again, the rules are on the slide. You can read them, and I will start working with the girls. Okay, Alena, you can. Okay, okay, Alena, yes, you are unmuted. Okay, actually, everybody can now unmute himself. So if you are Alena, Elena, Marina, and Tatiana, can you turn on your mics, please? Now you can do it. Alena, sound is on. Tanya, Elena, and Marina. Elena says that she still can't. Can you try now, Elena?
Yeah,
yes.
hello.
Hello, very good. So I'm sorry that it takes. Marina, you can try to turn it on now.
Yeah, now I can.
And Tatiana, you can try now. Okay, yeah, you're all fine.
Okay, yeah, you're all fine.
And now I'm going to put everyone, all of you into breakout room. Only Tatiana will stay here. Okay, Tatiana, you will be the first one.
Okay.
Okay, Alena, can you say something, Alena? Is it on? Is your sound on? Okay, and now Alena, then. Sorry, it takes so long. I should have chosen probably another activity which won't be so. So Marina, Alena, somebody else is so you go into breakout room, and when you see a message, okay, you can come in. One person should enter the main room. Okay, you can go to breakout room, and Tatiana is here with us. So Elena. Are you gone? I hope they are gone. Okay, so Tatiana, listen to this story. Tomorrow, we are going to have a hiking trip, and about 30 people are going to take part in this trip. So we meet at 8 o'clock in the morning, somewhere near the school, and there will be a bus which will take us to the mountains. Okay, please make sure that you have got enough food and with you, and of course something to drink like water or maybe juice or anything which you prefer to drink. And don't forget to take some games, maybe, or some balls or something we can entertain ourselves with. Okay, you can ask me one question about the information I have given to you.
I understand. I haven't got any questions.
You don't have any questions?
And I need, no, but I need I need
okay, now you will have to tell everything. Sorry? Can you say it again?
I must talk with other girls.
Yes, yes. Now another. Okay. Now we are waiting for somebody to come in, and as soon as as one of the girls somebody is here. Okay, who is here from the breakout room? Alena is here. Alena, you can turn on your sound. And can you hear it now? Can you turn it on? I just press the button and yes.
Yeah, now I can.
You can do it. Oh, thanks God. Okay, Alena, now listen to Tatiana. She's going to give you some information. Please listen carefully. And when she finishes her talk, you can ask her one follow-up question. That's it. And then you will have
just
to give
one.
And then you will have to give this information to the next girl. Okay?
Okay, I try.
Diana? Okay, let's start.
Oh no. We are going to hiking trip. We will go at 8 o'clock. You may take some drinks, water or juice, or maybe that you want. And remember that you must take some games. And that's all.
Okay, Alena, you can ask one question.
Okay. Okay, I understand that you've got a trip, but should I bring some, I don't know, coats or sweaters?
No, I haven't this information.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let's ask for another person. Okay, as soon as Elena or Marina. Tanya, Alena, can you switch off your sound right now? Because there's an echo. As soon as Elena is here, Elena, turn on your mic, please. Elena, no, you can't. Okay, so I have to ask you once. Okay, can you do it now? Okay, I just press this button.
I
Okay,
can now. I'm back.
Okay, now Alena is going to give you some information. You have to try to remember everything she says. And then at the end, you will have to ask, you can ask one follow-up question. And then all the information you have, you give it to Marina, who is still in breakout room. Okay? Alena, turn on your mic now and just give us the information. So you can't. Okay, let's try.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Elena, we are going to go to a trip. We started at 8 o'clock. You can take with you some drinks or games, and I have no information about do we need coats or sweaters.
Is that all?
Yes.
Do you have an idea how we're going to travel?
I have no information about that. Sorry.
Okay.
Is that all?
Yeah, that's it. Now I will ask Marina to join us.
Shall I switch off my microphone?
Yeah, please, because sometimes there is an echo sound. Okay, now we're waiting for Marina. She doesn't want to leave the breakout room. Oh, yeah, no,
She
here
feels
now.
comfortable here.
Yeah, okay, Marina is here. Okay, Marina, where are you? Here you are. Turn on your mic, please.
Hey,
Marina, Elena is going to tell you something. Just listen very carefully, ask one follow-up question at the end, and then just sum up and give us all the information which you learned from Elena. Okay?
okay.
They told me that we're going on a trip at 8. We are allowed to take some drinks or games, but there is no information about any warm clothes or coats. Also, I asked how we were supposed to travel, but there was no answer.
You can ask
Okay.
one question.
And by us we mean who's going to go?
Alena told me that Tatiana told her. Remember Harry Potter, it's our everything. Parvati told Dean, Dean told Ron.
Okay, so kind of recap, yeah?
Yeah.
So the four of us, are setting off at 8, for some trip, and kind of there is no info whether we should take warm clothes or not, but I'm sure we're going to have a lot of fun.
Okay. Yeah. So, well, actually, the main idea is more or less okay. Yeah, it is fine. Okay. This is how this game is played, or well, how this is activity is performed. Usually, the more people you have in your group, the funnier and the more unbelievable and the further from the original it is. Actually. And Marin, I'm sorry, you didn't hear the original one, but it was like this. Okay, tomorrow at 8 o'clock, we are going on a hiking tour and we are meeting at 8 o'clock near the school. We are going there by bus. And what you need to take with you is just some food, some snacks, and maybe something to drink. And you can choose what you want to drink. And you have to take with you also some maybe sport equipment or some games to entertain yourself. The more detail,
we're going to have fun.
Yeah, but yeah, the main idea is still here, so you are going to have fun. Sometimes the main idea changes. Yeah, but we had only 4 participants. That's why it hasn't changed so much. Okay, and one more thing. So the more information, the more details you give, the funnier it might get. Okay, and you can use pieces of news to retell. You can use some descriptions. with a lot of adjectives or adverbs. So whatever you want to practice with your students. And it is why I add this follow-up question. Sometimes when you are asked a question and you don't know what to say, you make it up. So this is how our brain works. And this is how gossip appears in the world, actually. So thank you, Tatiana, Alona, Elena, and Marina for being my volunteers today. And you helped me a lot. And well, that was great. And thank you, everybody. So actually, that's it. These two activities I wanted to show you. So brainstorm with pictures and use a gossip game to work on speaking and just to do speaking activities with your students. And I hope you will be able to use these two activities next week with your students. Okay, thank you. Here at Trendy English Conferences, we have a tradition. If you liked the speaker's talk, you can turn on your videos and give mute applauses, a round of mute applause. Okay, we will practice it with all other speakers as well. Okay, yeah, or you can just put some reactions. Okay, great. So before we go to the next speaker, and you might be very intrigued as you don't have the schedule and you don't know who our speakers today are. Yeah, I want just to remind once again that we have got a Telegram chat. And if you are a speaker, we ask you just, and you are ready to share some materials as a follow-up of your talk, you can put all the materials into this chat, and all the participants are more than welcome to join the chat just to be able to get all the materials which you might need next week. Also, we will ask our speakers to put their slides into the chat as well. Okay, and as a present from Trendy English, we have already put there a lesson plan of the lesson on emotions. So what emotions we have, and if we have negative emotions, how to work with them and how to calm down and how to react to different news in the world. So this lesson plan is already in our Telegram chat, and you can download it. So here is the link. Okay, this is the link to our Telegram chat. Okay, and now I am absolutely happy to introduce our next speaker. Well, just an amazing speaker, and my dear friend, Natasha Belousova. I think everybody knows Natasha. Can you greet Natasha with smiles in the chat? Natasha, I will make you a co-host. Let's see if everything works, if you can turn on your sound, and if you can share your presentation if you have it.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you. Great.
Great. Thanks very much. Hello, everyone. I'm really happy to join the event. And Lena, I think it's just a brilliant idea. Really, that's why when I saw Lena's advertisement, I thought, well, it wasn't an advertisement. Sorry for this commercial talk, but anyway. So hi, everyone, and good morning. And I'm really happy to see all of you. And I think we have about 20 minutes. So I'm gonna share something I call oldies but goodies, or if you like, oldies but goldies. So there's some activities that I quite frequently use myself with my students because I think they really work well. So I'll try to share my slides. That should work. Yep. And give me a sec. So we're going to start the slideshow in a sec. Woo, here we go. Can you hear and see me well? Could you please type something in the chat? Yes, that's very good. Thank you very much. All right, wonderful. Okay, that's good. look, I've got just a quick request at the beginning of our meeting. It's not going to be a talk, okay? So I'm going to ask you to participate or say what you think, sometimes in the chat, sometimes using your mic. So could you just feel free to unmute yourself, okay, yourselves when you want to say something, or say something in the chat, because we're going to try out bits and pieces, okay? So I'm not going to do it automatically, like I'll just ask a couple of people, could you unmute yourselves, please, and say what you think? So let's...
If you want people to unmute themselves, you will have to ask them to do it. I mean, to press this button.
I press the button, like unmute yourself. Right. Yeah, okay. Well, that's very good. Right. Well, at least we can all work in the chat anyway. So here we go, let's start. So today I'm going to show you a couple of activities. As I said, they're not very new, but I really love them because first, as I promised, oh, you don't know what I promised. As I said, they're preparation light, or you could say they're low prep activities and they don't require a lot of time on the teacher's side. They're all text-based, so we're going to work with little text. So, and they're really, really useful in my head because you, in all these activities, you're going to work with the language coming out of your learners. That's why, you know, it's like real work, something I call gardening in the classroom, all right? Like dirty but useful. So they're called, you might know this, grammaticization activities, blah, blah, blah. It's a test to show whether you're sober this morning. I want to say grammaticization. So basically the idea is that there is some, you know, key information, the students understand the meaning, and then it's their job to grammaticize whatever they see, like to add grammar into these activities to make them sound good. So why use these activities? A quick theory for a couple of, oh, slides don't change. Thank you, Lena. I'll try it again. Right. Can you see the change of slides right now?
I know, probably you will have to share the screen once again. Probably you're just sharing the old one, you know, that's old one.
Great, I'll try again. Sorry about that.
Oh, it happens from time to time.
Right.
Yeah, now we can see.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to change my slide. Tell me if it's changed. So I'm going to go back.
Yeah, it works now.
That's very good. Thank you very much. Yeah, so why use these activities? So first of all, look, you can choose any topic you like, and it could be any piece of material you like, starting with some, you know, pieces of authentic material you find online, or it could be any nice text from your course book, or the topic might come from your students, which is good. As I said, the language to work in comes from the learners. So it's real. Multiple skills are involved in these activities. These activities are adaptable for any levels, any ages. You just choose, you know, the material appropriately, the context that fits. And I think that these activities are really, really, really meaningful. So, and one of my favorite topics, and the one that I've chosen for today, is random acts of kindness. Okay, and we sometimes talk about it with my learners, you know, some good things people do every day just to make someone smile. And I always think it's a good topic. Well, at least we're going to use it with you today. And the first, a bit of theory. The first thing that we're going to do is called schema bending, difficult name, easy task. So it's when basically you ask the learners to tell the story back, okay? Like there is a little story, you'll have a look, and then you ask the learners to tell the story back and from the end to the beginning. And it means that on the way, while they're telling the story, they would need to change all the grammar there, you know, with some other things implied, like, you know, little linking words and so on. So, and in this case, in all these activities, we think that grammar is not like, you know, big grammar, which is a huge elephant and so on, but it's like a process more. And the students are trying to adapt grammar to the change of meaning. So that's the main idea. So once again, let's look at schema bending. I'm going to read a very short story for you now. Okay, I'm going to read it. I'm going to be the the speaker, and you try. Do you have a piece of paper and a pen somewhere, with a pencil, something to write with, maybe next to you? Yes, yes, no. Could be Word doc. Yeah, so something you can write on. So you try to either mind map what I'm doing, well, in any possible way, or even draw what is happening in the story. Okay, so not taking notes, but mind map, draw, maybe drawing some symbols, whatever, that will help you remember what happened in the story. Okay, so ready? Yeah, I'm going to read the story in a second. Okay, so here we go. It was my daughter's first birthday, and I went to purchase a birthday cookie and cupcakes. I was so embarrassed when my debit card was declined that I just left the store. As I was getting into my car, a gentleman who was behind me in line came out and gave me the cookie and cupcakes and said it wasn't him. I cried and hugged him. Here's the story. I'm going to read it one more time, okay? So do the same. It was my daughter's first birthday, and I went to purchase a birthday cookie and cupcakes. I was so embarrassed when my debit card was declined that I just left the store. As I was getting into my car, a gentleman who was behind me in line came out and gave me the cookie and cupcakes and said it wasn't him. I cried and hugged him. Okay. Here's the story. All right. And now, can I ask someone? We'll try to unmute someone. Yeah. Who's ready to get unmuted and try to tell us the story from the symbols, the drawings, or the quick writings that you have now? Aha, Christina, right? No, do I need to find you now? Sorry. Ah, yeah, here you go. Thank you very much, Christina. It's easy now. Okay. Thanks very much. So just share your story, okay?
So it was my daughter's first birthday, and I went to the shop to buy cookies and cupcakes for this celebration. And I was so embarrassed when my credit card was declined, so I just went out of the shop. And then when I got to my car, a man that was standing behind me in the line just came to me and gave me those cupcakes and cookies. And I was crying and just hugged him.
Yeah, nice, isn't it? Yeah, almost like in the original, right? Yeah. Like, we're not going to listen to other stories, but you understand, you can listen to a few versions, and I really like it in class when the students tell the stories to each other. Like, you ask them to work in pairs and share the stories the way they remember them, and together they sort of reconstruct the meaning of the story. Okay, and what's important for this, it's not the end, but what's important for this activity is that the story you choose is always very short, okay, very simple, and there are a lot of actions there. Yeah, so there is a clear succession of actions happening one after another, very clear grammar. Like here, it's definitely, it's a narrative. So we've got past, 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 continuous sometimes, things like that. So very clear, very simple, a clear succession of actions, because then it's easy for the learners to remember what happened, and they can just respond to the signals they have on a piece of paper somewhere. Yeah, the next step is to compare their stories with the original. Okay, so I'm going to share the slide with the original story. Yeah, just have a look. You can compare your notes. Oh, let's see if it works. Yeah, can you see the story on the screen? Working? Yes, great. Thank you. Yeah, have a look. So here's the original story. You can just have a quick look and compare. I'm going to share the slide. So at the bottom of the slide, you can see the link to the website where I found lots of examples. It's a like an authentic little story. So you can use these stories for an inspiration if you like. Modify them or just use them as they are. So this is the original story. Yeah. Here we go. So after the learners have looked at the original story, I basically ask them to tell the story back. Okay, like from the end to the beginning. So it means that the beginning of the story now is going to be, I cried and hugged the man. Okay, so which makes the story much more intriguing as you get. So can I ask someone, we're going to do it spontaneously, if you don't mind, because you're, expert users of English. Can I ask someone, again, to unmute themselves? Tell me who is going to be in the chat. We need just one person. You want the task, I think, before you just said, okay. Alexandra is ready. Yeah. Alexandra. Let me find you. Can you switch on your video so that I see you on my main screen and I can unmute you, if possible? Sorry, I'm just looking for.
Okay, I'll try to help as well. I found Alexandra. Can you turn on your
video?
Yeah. Hello,
Oh, yeah.
man.
Yeah. Oh, thanks very much.
Video,
yeah. So, yeah.
My money doesn't look so nice. So please.
That's fine. Don't worry. Well, it's good we can hear you. That's all we need. So, could you please look at the story again? It's on the screen. I hope it is. Just look at it and try to tell the story back. Okay. So you start with I cried and hugged the man, and then go back and try to reach the beginning, which is going to be the end.
Okay.
Make all the changes you need.
I cried and hugged the man because there was. Can I fill in some other words like?
Yeah. You can make all the changes you need.
Because there was a serious reason. The thing is that he came out of the shop and gave me the very cookies and cupcakes that I was longing to buy. But due to the fact that my debit card was declined, I just left the store without buying them. Well, basically, I wanted to purchase them for birthday of my daughter, and it was really important because it was the first birthday of her.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah, thanks very much. Interesting that notice that the first thing Alexandra asked about is like, can I add some words? Because you definitely need some words if you want to tell the story back. Otherwise, it's not going to be logical anymore, right? And this is the trick, because when the learners start doing it, they realize, right, I need to put together the facts in a slightly different way. I need slightly different tenses in this situation. Like, for example, I need past perfect sometimes. I need some link words sometimes. You could say, for example, a minute before, this man, was standing behind me in line in the shop. Yeah, for example, you have to think about the articles in this situation. And in this case, because it's meaningful, because the learners understand what they're talking about like that, the use of grammar is absolutely meaningful. And this is what you can comment on, later on. And this is what you can give feedback on. Like, look, you mentioned the same man, second time, this man first time, and so on. And all your grammar explanations are going to be live. They're going to be close to real life, and they're going to reflect the situation that the students described in the story. Okay. So in terms of preparation, you understand you need a very short story. That's it. That's all you need, but very short, as I said, very clear succession of actions. I'm going to show you the procedure on the slide. You don't have to write anything down because, as I said, I'm going to share the slides in this Telegram. We're going to use the store again for another quick activity. And again, it's what we call difficult word, easy work in class, grammaticization activities. is called grammaring. So the idea is that the learners have to put grammar back into a degrammared text. I even know people here on the screen who've tried it. So, and you can use, again, any very short story for this. I'm going to show you what a degrammared text looks like. And for our purposes, I'm going to use the same story, okay, about that woman whose debit card was declined. Here we go. So this is what this story would look like if it's degrammared. Yeah, look at it in the chat. Tell me what is not very good. What is not ideal in this story, mostly in terms of grammar. Notice that all the meaningful words are there in the right order. Okay, could you type in the chat just a couple of things? No verb to be, right? Because to be is just a grammar verb, okay? A grammar word, sorry. So it's not very meaningful. Everything is in the base form. Yes, no possessives. Yeah, it's not that the tenses are wrong. There are no tenses here, okay? Let's put it like that. So all the verbs are in the, I hope, in the base form, no articles. The word order is sort of fine because there is no word. I mean, it's like all the meaningful words just follow each other the way they follow each other in the story. Nothing else. Nothing has changed. But I'll just summarize what you're saying in the chat right now. So no tenses, no articles, no particles, no plurals, okay, at all. All the adjectives, all the verbs are, in the base form. There are no possessive pronouns because possessive pronouns like my, his, her, you know, they are grammatical words, and the students should sort of know when they should be there, and so on. So basically there is no grammar at all. So the meaning is there, the lexis is there, all the meaningful words are there in the right order. There is no grammar. And what do you think? What's the learner's task? Guesses? Guesses in the chat? I'm going to specify it. What should the learners do, you think? Yeah, look, there's nothing to correct because there are no errors, but bring the grammar, put the grammar back, exactly, you know. It's de-grammared, so now grammar the text, absolutely. Yeah, and it's done. We're not going to try it out. It takes time and we have like a couple of minutes really. So important, the text should be very, very short again, and very simple from the point of view of the meaning, because there is a lot of processing in terms of language here. Like there is a lot to think. And when you ask the learners to put the grammar back into a text, it has to be a story they already know, okay? So you always deal with a piece of text the learners have listened to, and they have processed it for meaning. So they already understand what the story is about. So the meaning should be there already. So we never do it when we just give the students a text they see first time in their lives, okay? So, but if they know the context, they know what happens, right? Then it's easy to think about grammar because grammar reflects the situation, right? And so, they try to grammar the text. They basically rewrite it, putting all the grammar back. They can do it alone. This task is quite challenging. They can do it in pairs if you like. And after that, they compare what they have with the original story. And it's very, very important that when the learners compare it with the original story, they don't really correct anything in their text. They just highlight or underline everything that's different, okay? Because the main idea is that if it's different, doesn't mean it's wrong. You know, sometimes there are options, okay? And then it's followed by, you know, the discussion of the students' versions, the comparison with the original version, something interesting they notice in the regional version. So here's a lot of noticing involved. And yeah, I think it's a powerful exercise because here grammar works in complex. And again, you can use any short text you like. Even if you're using your course book, take a very short text from the workbook which will contain the lexis and the grammar of the unit. And it's a fantastic way to revise everything and to see where the students are with the grammar you've covered, with the lexis you've covered, you know. Or it could be like any short text from online sources. Here's the procedure. Yeah, notice that it has to be a familiar text. That's very important. Very, very important. Okay. Have a look. Very short. You can use it with lower levels as well. It's just that the text is going to be very, very simple. Okay. You can use it basically with different ages and contexts. Okay. More ideas. Expanding headlines. That's another one. So you probably know that newspaper headlines are not regular sentences. Usually, so when you look at the headline, sometimes, you know, it's not easy to understand what the article is about, or sometimes they're just not completely grammatical, because in newspaper headlines, like articles are very often omitted and so on and so forth. So another good exercise, which is also grammaticization, would be expanding headlines. I'm going to show you on the slide 3 headlines from bbc.com news. The topic is kindness. This is what I decided on. The link is at the bottom of the slide. Yeah, well, have a look. They're all about some kindness stories. And you see, they're not really like sentences, which are all fully grammatical, like elephant doorstep mystery solved by task force. So you can see that there are only the keywords there. So basically, they're also slightly degrammared, not completely, but slightly. Yeah, because this is the genre. This is the genre feature. 3 flowers to brighten day for passers-by, and so on. So this is what the learners can do. I think you can guess, right? So first, they could try to expand each headline into a grammatical sentence, adding the things that are necessary there so that it becomes a sentence. And then you can suggest all sorts of follow-ups for your students. For example, they could write their own very short article which matches the headline, you know, and you can work on it. So it could be just writing, if you like. Or it could be used as a prediction task, you know, when they can predict what the story is about, share their ideas, you know, talk together, and then check with the real articles. And then it's going to be a nice, meaningful reading task, right? You can find all the articles following the link, okay? And more ideas, because I think I have to finish already, almost. On this slide, you can just see a couple of ideas of other grammaticization activities. Just have a look. I'll just comment on changing the genre. It's like, for example, you have a fairy tale. Yeah, again, all these things are done when the learners have already read the text or listened to the text. They understand very well what the text is about. And then you do things like that with this familiar text. So, for example, you're reading a newspaper article with your learners and you've read it. You know, you've discussed it, they understand what it's about, and then you ask the learners to rewrite it as a fairy tale. Okay, right? If you want to make a newspaper article into a fairy tale, think how many changes you're gonna make there. You know, something like that. Or they've watched a series and they need to write something like a newspaper article based on it. You know, things like that. So here are some of the ideas I wanted to share with you. Low prep, useful in my head, difficult for the learners. Really, really meaningful. I hope you'll find them useful, and time to stop. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you, Natasha. I'm afraid we don't have any time for questions, but
you can all write them in the
talks today. Thank you very much.
You.
And okay, let's give a round of applause to Natasha. You can turn on your videos and okay, give your applause. Okay, Natasha, thank you. Thank you for your useful ideas.
Very much.
And I think that you will put all your slides into our chat. So
I will.
People could download the slides. Okay, thank you. And now we are going to our next speaker, and our next speaker is Polina Mitsyk. Pauline, I hope that I pronounced your surname correctly.
Yes, you did. Everything's fine. Thank you very much.
Okay, so and Polina is going to talk today about 3 activities to wake up our students.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So Polina's sound is on. Let's see if her slides work, and let's greet Polina with our smiles in the chat.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I hope you have a great day today. I hope that you already woke up and you already put a smile on your face, because it's very important every morning to have a smile. I hope you had your cup of coffee, because I certainly did, and I have another one, and I hope you do too. So I wanted to talk about today about some activities to wake up our students, because you know, sometimes our students feel a little bit sad, or they can feel a little bit tired after some activities, or they just can come in a tired mood. And it's usually a big problem with teenagers because they get tired in the class. Sometimes we have to wake them up, and I'm going to talk about how to wake them up today. And I also wanted to wake you up, so please help me and participate. We will do 3 activities all together today. But before that, I wanted to talk a little bit about myself, because I know that not everybody here knows me, and it's so many people today here, which makes me very excited, actually. My name is Polina. I'm a teacher of English, and I've been teaching English for 8 years now. I also have got my own language school in Zelenograd, which is called Exam Express. And my school is 5 years old now, so that sounds very crazy. I specialize in preparing students for examinations, but I also work with students with special needs, like with special aims in learning, and so on and so forth. So I hope that you know me a little bit better now, and we can move on to the activities. So all of these activities I found in February, and I made them work for my students. I'm sure that most of these activities you know already, but let's look at them in a different angle, and maybe you can get something to your class as well. So
Polina, let's check if you can change the slides, because I'm afraid that you might be having this.
Now I have changed one. Can you see it?
No, we can't. Can you just stop sharing and try to share again?
Yes, of course. I'm sorry. Give me a second. Let's do it once again. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Thank you for telling me about that, because I don't know if you can see it or not. Now I have changed the slide, and you can see the first activity. I called it a sticker shoot, and I think you know this activity very well, and you have practiced it with your students at least once in your life. So this activity is very low prep, because you only need sticky notes and a ball, and maybe like 30 minutes of your time. I think it's very easy. So what you do is you write some words on the stickers beforehand, before the class. For example, you know that you need to drill or revise some words, and you write them down on the stickers. But the important thing is they should be of 2 groups, of 2 categories. You'll see why in a second. The aim of the activity is to throw the ball at the stickers which follow a certain rule or a certain condition. What can you do? You can use not only balls. We used magnets, we used other stickers, we used hands to bring these stickers to each other, to the teacher. So it depends on your class, and it depends on what you have. So how do we use this activity, and why did I decide to talk about it once again? Because I think you know about it. Because this activity can be used with some more difficult tasks and with some more advanced students, and they really like it, actually. The adults like it a lot. So, for example, when we practice synonyms and antonyms with a word, for example, I have one word and I need to find all the synonyms for it. And I ask my students to shoot a ball to them, or I ask my students to put magnets on them and do it very fast. So this promotes my students to stand up, to stretch, and to run, and to do it. So other activity we practiced in my class is body parts and clothes we can wear on it. So I have two sets of cards, one with the pictures of a body part and one with the pictures of clothes, or body parts and illnesses, or clothes and weather. Like, the possibilities here are endless. I also use this activity when I want my students to practice some reading, actually. So I have some words with gaps, with a specific sound, which I need them to read and to practice. And I have some word vowel or I'm sorry, I forgot the word. So with some word combination on the other side. So they put them together, so they throw the ball at the ball stickers, and they try to read it, and then they try to write it, and then they try to read it all together, and so on and so forth. It really works for the students who are of young age. They really like it. And we also use it for sentences and grammatical meaning when we want to practice some differences between tenses. For example, when we practiced present perfect and past simple, the difference between them, sometimes it's difficult to differentiate. We can use this activity as well. So I would like you to help me now, because we are going to do the same activity too. I would like you to open the chat, wake up, stretch, and help me with this activity. So the aim of the activity you are going to do is to find two synonyms between two word combinations. We are looking at the synonyms of adjectives now, only adjectives. So please, now, are you ready? I hope you are. So let's do it. Okay, yeah, here it is. So can you find the synonyms and write down in the chat which ones are there? I think you can. It's very easy. For the teachers, it should be very, very easy. Okay, I can see some answers. Okay, yeah, please wake up, wake up. We need to do it. Come on, you can do it. So, any answers, any ideas? I will help if you need my help. Come on, wake up. Okay, let's talk about celestial music. Which is the closest adjective to the celestial? What do you think out of these ones? Of course, it's glorious. So celestial music and glorious track is very close to each other. So this would be the first set that you will throw your ball at. What about outrageous story? With outrageous story, we would use what? Bewildering fact, of course, because outrageous and bewildering. Yes, of course. Thank you, Alexei. Thank you very much. I just wanted to wake up all the chat because the chat is sleeping apparently still. Okay, and then goes appalling conditions. What would go with appalling? It would go with considerable, definitely. Yes, 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 yes. Very good. Thank you, Valeria. Thank you. So now when we did this activity, you know how to use it with your students. Maybe I gave you some ideas. Let's move on to the second activity. And the second activity is snap. I would call it snap that. It's very close in the dynamic to Uno, I think, but it takes less prep in my opinion. So what you need for this activity is word cards, which can be divided into at least 2 groups. The more groups, the better. If you have a big class of like 10 students or 15 students, of course, you will do more than 2 groups, like 3 or 4 or 5 groups. It doesn't matter. So students each have a set of cards. So you divide all the cards between all the students, and they put them facing down. And they go in circle, in rounds. So the first person opens the card with a word. And if the word follows the rule which teacher said, for example, if the word is a noun, which is written on your card, everything is good, and the turn goes to the second person. But if the word which is put by the second person is not a noun, they should say snap and take this whole pack of cards, which is already on the table. The aim of the activity is to make your students think, to concentrate them on what you're doing, and also to practice what you need to practice. And sometimes this activity wakes up wakes up very well, and my students don't want to leave the classroom even after this activity, because we usually do it at the end of the class. What is the aim of the game? Like, it's very close to a game. I would not call it a game, it's an activity more than a game, but the aim is to take all the cards from all your opponents. So the more cards you have, the better. And what rules we had with my students and what we practiced. So, for example, when we work with word formation, it works very well. So I give a certain suffix or prefix to my students, and I give some words which can be made with these suffixes or prefixes. And if it can be made, the card is on the table. If it can't be made, they should say snap and take the cards. And it also works very well with regular and irregular verbs. I know that it's a problem with most of the students. They can't really remember them. So if it's a regular verb, they don't do anything. And if it's irregular verb, they should say snap, and they should say what is the verb, like 3 forms of it. My students learned all these regular and irregular verbs in 2 classes. So like, I think it's an amazing result. So let's do it together again, but because we're teachers, we will not be doing any regular or irregular verbs, and not some suffixes and prefixes. We will do some teaching terms. Are you ready to do that? please, my help in the chat, please wake up, because I really need you. I need you to wake up. So let's do it together. I will show you 5 terms. And as soon as you see a term which does not exist, please write in the chat snap, okay? So I will do it very slowly, so you can have a time to think. But please write down snap in the chat. Okay, so are you ready? The first category is teaching terms. So let's see if you know them. The first one is learning goals. If it exists, you don't write anything. If it doesn't, you write snap. Okay. Then goes scaffolding. Okay, I don't see anything. Okay, that's very good. Then goes course evolution. Think about it. Is there any course evolution? Okay. And then we'll go flipped classroom. And the last one would be active learning. So which one do you think is not correct? Which one does not exist? Anyone? Please help me. I know the answer. Do you know the answer? Okay, yeah, thank you, yes. Course evolution is not correct. Of course, it's not evolution, it's evaluation. Thank you very much. It's true. I can see a lot of people in the chat. Thank you. I love it so much when people participate in the activities. Okay, and let's do one more round of it. Now it would be teaching methods. So let's see if you know any teaching methods. The task is the same. Find the one which is not correct. The first one is game-based learning. The second. Next one would be direct instruction. Then goes flipped classroom. And the last one is question-based learning. Which one is not correct? Okay, I can see some answers. No, you didn't get it. Think again. Come on. Yes, thank you, Mira, thank you. It's true. It's not question-based learning, of course. It's inquiry-based learning. Yeah, you know your teaching terms very well. Thank you very much. It's kind of a difficult task. If you don't really like study theory in English, it's a difficult task to know the terms. Thank you very much. So this activity promotes you to wake up. Some of you woke up very well, thank you. It was much better than the first one. So, and the last activity I wanted to talk about today is Hungry Lucy. Please don't make fun of me. It was not my idea to call her Lucy. My students decided that she is Lucy and not something else. So I have put a picture of Lucy next to the door of my classroom. And Lucy has got a very specific way of looking, you will see in a second. And Lucy will help me revise some vocabulary which my students can forget sometimes. So what I do is I cut the words which I need to revise on letters. So I write them down on a big piece of paper and I cut the letters in it. And I have some models of words. I will show you in a second what they look like. Well, the activity is to escape the punishment, because if you don't feed Lucy in a certain time, Lucy will get hungry and will try to eat you as well. Well, Lucy can eat only words which follow a certain pattern or a certain rule which teacher says. And if you feed Lucy something else, she will get angry and she will get you a punishment. The punishment usually in our case was to revise these words or to do a project or any kind of new activity or to prepare an activity for the whole class to do. So it's something like that. And the legend is that Lucy loves to eat a lot, but she can eat only certain words which teacher says she can today. So you need to feed her some words you've learned today. And if you fail, she will eat you. So you will get a punishment. Are you ready to be escaping Lucy? Because she will eat you and she will not let you go to the next speaker unless you help me. I hope you are. So let's work with Lucy a little bit. So can you see my Lucy? She's on the right. She's a little bit scared, a little bit puzzled, because she forgot what is important for a good teacher. And there is a word combination on top of the screen. These are the letters you can use. And letters can be used twice or 3 times, whatever times you want them to be used. And this is a model of the verb which I was talking about. So there is a word with some certain gaps, and I put them like this long pieces of paper, and we feed Lucy. Like when we go, we need to give Lucy this piece of paper before we go home. So I want you to think about what words can be here. The words are connected with some things teachers should have or should be able to do. Good teachers, of course. So you can guess in the chat. I would really like you to guess some. I will help you. Most of them are very philosophical, like very high standard of teaching. Okay. If you have any guesses, I will say if it's hot or cold, please help me because I need your help. We have got like 2 minutes to do this activity, and this is the last activity of my talk. So please, any guesses? There are like 4 words here. Some of them are very, very simple, and some of them are very difficult. Whatever we can guess, no problem. No, Valeria, it's not that. Well, it's a good quality to have in teaching, to be a lasting teacher. Why not? Yes, it's a good one, but it's not anymore. Very good, agree is very good guess, but it's not. It's not. But you're very close, like 90% close. Think about it. Think about it. Valeria is very close. She says agree. The first word is not agree, but it's degree. It's degree. The first one is degree. This one is degree. Because yes, okay. So a good teacher should have a good degree and should know where to stop and where to continue. Okay, any more? Justify is not one. Let's do a couple more guesses and I'll tell you which are the words because I don't have much time left. It's very close, but no, it's not. Let's do one more guess and I'll tell you what words they are. Okay, I'll help you because I don't have much time left. So the first word is degree, which we discussed already. The second one, for me at least, I'm talking about me and my own opinion, is destiny. I think that a good teacher is destined to be a teacher, because I know a lot of teachers who are not sure in themselves, but if you have a destiny to be a teacher, like, no problem. The next one is gist. A good lesson, in my opinion, should have some gist and some meaning, of course. And the last one is sense. You should feel your students, and you should also make sense when you speak. Okay, so the words were a little bit difficult, but that's fine. Okay, so thank you for listening to me. I wanted to show you how you can contact me, because I constantly work on some activities, on some things you can improve and some things you can use with your students. I will very soon send some free materials to my audience. So if you want any of that, I'm working on some games and activities you can use in your classroom. So if you want any of that, you can follow me, you can write me if you have any questions, or if you want to do like any kind of project, because I'm open to any project. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you for participating. Thank you for being here today. I hope that you have a great day, and I put a smile on your face. So I hope to see you next time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Polina. And now let's turn our videos and give Polina a round of applause. Okay, Polina, that's the first time, I think, yeah?
Second, my second time speaking, yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you, and hope to see you again at Trend English events. Okay, so thank you, Polina, and I hope you will share your slides with us in Telegram chat so that people could download and use your activities next week during their lessons. Okay, and now we are moving to our next speaker, and our next speaker is Masha Andrievich. Hi, Masha. Okay, let me do you a co-host. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, Masha is going to talk to Masha's talk today is simple text reconstruction activities for primary. Okay. So let's see if everything works, and we will start. Let's try to change the slides very well.
I can't.
Yeah, they're working. Great. Okay, let's greet Masha with smiles in the chat. Yeah, hello, you've got some flowers in the chat. Okay. Okay, we can start. The floor is yours.
Okay. Morning, everyone. Thanks very much for joining me on this talk and for joining the conference. It's wonderful to see so many colleagues here today. What I wanted to talk about is several ideas for text-based lessons and focus on 2 text reconstruction activities. So clearly, text reconstruction is something that I would guess most, at least Russian teachers, are familiar with, and it's something that I believe most Russian speakers were taught to do at school, and it's something we're familiar as пересказ. Basically, it's retelling a text and putting it in your own words. I guess it might seem like outdated to some, but in practice, it turns out to be really, really useful. And I do believe that it helps develop a lot of skills. I'm going to provide some rationale for that, and then also introduce some materials and talk about why you might want to use them, and especially how. So why do text reconstruction in class, and especially in primary, is for probably 2 main reasons. First of all, it's great language practice, and it allows you to help learners either practice and produce some new language that they could have met in a text, or use the language that they know to paraphrase and explain what they understand from a text. So clearly, This can help a lot in working with new language, with new vocabulary, and also new grammar structures. Also, it will help students to activate their knowledge of existing grammar structures. Also, text reconstructions has a lot of benefits, not only related to specifically language learning, but also to overall cognitive development. Because if you think about the steps of this process and about the stages and about the activities that actually go into the whole process, we will see that learners will need to read a text. They will also need some comprehension of that text. They will also need to decide how to relate in their own words, break it into parts, maybe summarize some information. So basically, text reconstruction, I would say, leads to much, much deeper text processing. So much more detailed thinking about the text, much deeper understanding of the text. Let's see which materials can help us with these activities, and also talk about how to choose them. Clearly, a lot of course books for young learners provide both fiction and non-fiction texts. And among those course books could be like the ones I've listed on the slide, but clearly there are many, many others. What you need to be aware of is when you're choosing a text for a text reconstruction activity, is that you want something which is put down as prose, so usually not comics. Lots of modern course books, like really new ones, rely heavily, I feel, on comic strips in developing reading skills. For text reconstruction activities, it's much more practical to use texts written as prose. The course books I've been using recently and like using some texts from them are kids books, Academy Stars, Superminds, and Power Up. Also books which offer mostly reading texts, story fun. There are 6 levels, and Oxford Primary Skills, which is also a great collection of short texts, and a series of language, like vocabulary, and also writing tasks. I will show a couple of slides with pages from those books. I would also want to mention Twinkle differentiated reading comprehension worksheets. I'll also talk about them. I just found them recently. I think they're great. And also, let's not forget about short readers. The ones, again, I've been using recently are some OUP materials, Dolphin readers, and Family and Friends readers. I'll also show them down below. So talking about nonfiction texts, I'm a great fan of those in course books. They usually lead to a lot of learning, and not only about language, but also about the world around us. And it's great fun in the primary, where learners will be connecting the little bits of knowledge they have about the world with like what they've read in the story in a text like that. And it's usually quite enjoyable for everyone. Lots of texts like that allow you to experiment, and a good example for that is the text about breathing from Superminds 2, I guess. Here is a little text about wolves from Academy Stars. Another great resource that I would like to, yes, right in the chat, some colleagues are recognizing where the materials come from, definitely. Also, something I would like to highlight in this short talk is using graded readers, and especially like around now, when lots of adults can be probably quite worried about what's happening, and could be demonstrating maybe some signs of stress, or actually maybe just being slightly, again, worried. I think that introducing literature and bringing stories into the classroom is actually a really great way to create some safe space for both the teacher and the learners, because it's such a powerful way to like sort of escape for, I don't know, 40 minutes into a reality where everything is more or less predictable and fictional and things like that. So I would strongly recommend looking at graded readers and looking at fiction and stories, and especially focusing on stories which provide like a safe, maybe a predictable outcome to enhance this feeling of like safe space in the classroom. And I wanted to mention a couple of books that we read recently with my learners and enjoyed them immensely. One of them is Benny and the Biscuits, is a story from again, OUP, and this is a reader which is supposed to be substituting Family and Friends course book. You don't have to use it necessarily with the course book. You can use it as a standalone. You can go through it in one lesson, I would say, with maybe like second graders or kids who have been learning English for about a year. Excuse me. And the story focuses on a boy who sees his sister baking cookies, and then he can't resist the temptation. He sort of steals a little bag of cookies, and he runs away into the, he's running to the park, and the whole family is trying to catch him. And the story repeats a little bit, because like the grandfather steps out and says like, Benny, bring back the biscuits. And Benny keeps running. Then the sister comes out and says, like, Benny, bring back the biscuits. And so there is this lovely repetition, which again, I think is great for kids. We all know from psychology how like soothing this is, and how great and how enjoyable it is for young learners. So the story is great. It has some nice language. It also has some tasks inside, and will easily lend itself to the activities that I will talk about later. One more fun story, surprisingly from the same series, is The Bear on the Stairs. Again, is a totally fictional situation where a boy comes to his granddad and each day of the week announces something outstanding. Like here you can see an example from Thursday, and Jerry says, there is a fox selling socks on the rocks. And so it goes on until there is a real bear on the stairs. They have to call the police and the firefighters. And they, the story ends with Grandpa and Jerry talking about jokes and lies, which is again a lovely topic to pick up on in a primary classroom. Beautiful pictures as well. And finally, maybe two more things that I would like to mention talking about materials is the Twinkle section of materials. The website is twinkle.co.uk. It's a subscription website, but you can choose which subscription you go for. You have different options, and they also provide some free materials. So they have a lot of texts, which are which they call differentiated reading comprehension. You'll see the name like on the slides over here, differentiated reading comprehension. Just go on Twinkle, type up differentiated reading comprehension. You will end up with lots of text on a variety of topics, stories, nonfiction, both. And they are like graded, and clearly you can download a pack and decide if you want to use this, I don't know, like more simple version on the left, which is 1 star, more complicated version on the right. They have different tasks, and clearly you can work with it and adapt it to your learner's level. But again, a great variety of very relatable texts for young learners. Pokemon is a good topic always to talk about. Finally, one more fun story is about Silly Squirrel, who spends the whole summer collecting more and more food. And when the winter comes, there is nowhere to hide because food takes over the whole space. Very funny, but again, nice, easy story. It's cheerful. It's something to laugh about, and can be used with the following activities. So the two activities that I wanted to show are activity number 1, story map. I'm not sure it's a particularly elegant activity. It's nothing special really, but it helps the learners to understand the structure of the text and use a little plan as a support for their own retelling. So how we do it is we basically read the story together in class. There is not much preparation needed, just have a look at the story before the class yourself. Read the story together in class. We also use a little worksheet or just write down in the notebook the story details. I'll show it on the next slide in a second. And then we talk about how many parts there are in the story. If you are using a story, like one of the stories I've mentioned before, it's nice to choose a story where elements repeat. In the Benny and the Biscuits story, the boy runs out of his house and then meets several family members who all repeat pretty much the same text. And it's really easy to understand for kids how many parts there are in the story. Lots of tales are based on this structure, like repeating elements, which are easy to like detach and understand how many there are in the story. So we read the story together, maybe, I don't know, like, sentence by sentence or like paragraph by paragraph out loud. Talk together about how many parts there are in the story. We then prepare sort of bubbles or boxes on a page, and the number is the number of parts in the story. We then discuss with the students how they will draw a picture for each part. And then I would be like walking around and monitoring how they're dealing with that. And also listening to some bits of story reconstruction from this or that learner. Let me show you the worksheet that we have been using and the story, and I will it will probably be clearer. So here's the story map for the story, which is called Snail Finds His Home. What happens here is the snail is in the forest, and surprisingly, it can't find its house. And it then goes on to talk to different animals, and all the animals have no idea. And then it starts raining, everyone hides in different places, and Snail finally realizes it can hide in the shell, which is on its back. Clever. So it was really easy to break the story down into several parts corresponding to the number of animals the snail talks to. And then we discussed how the learners will draw what happens in each part, because you will see some students will be willing to draw one object or one character to represent the part of the story. And some kids will try to draw actually everything that happened in this part of the story. And it's probably not very helpful. So while talking about how we draw story bits into those bubbles, it's important to explain that it's a good idea to draw one object or like one or two characters to show what happened in this part. Again, I think it's a great piece of discussion to have in class because it clearly contributes to like cognitive processing, how the children understand elements of the story, about how they understand like what's represented by what. It's great. Talk about how to draw bits, start putting them into those bubbles. Again, what I saw was lots of kids working with the text. So they would be looking at a paragraph, they would be looking at a picture, they will be then drawing something in the little bubble. Again, look in the text, think, draw something in the bubble. I thought it's great. Again, it's a rather quiet sort of activity at this stage. And I thought it's lovely because they seem to be like enjoying the story and drawing. It's also creative. So have kids do that. At some point, start monitoring. And then I was able to listen to at least, I know, like 3 or 4 learners in a lesson, retelling me a sequence of like 2 or 3 events. And then in the end of the lesson, you can ask one learner maybe to try, close the book and use the story map to retell the story. Again, you can do it without any complicated worksheets. Just do that in a notebook. Write out story name and story characters in the beginning and have the students go and complete the bubbles. Right, one more very simple activity that will require practically no preparation from you is story cards, but this time made by students. You will just need to choose a story before class, and from the story, pick out maybe 8 or 10 chunks, or basically phrases, which are maybe not completely new to the learners. Maybe 1 or 2 of them could be new. You will have to teach those. But again, you can work with the language that's already familiar. Put them on a board as a list, but don't number them. It doesn't matter which order you would use. Give out an A4 paper and a pair of scissors for each student. In class, you will need to introduce the story and explain you're going to work with story cards. But this time, the learners will be preparing the story cards themselves. Students will be then using those A4 papers and split them into 8 sections. That's really easily done. Clearly, you just need to show them how to fold those. And yeah, that's all ready. You have a brilliant set of cards, and it's easy to cut. Students will split their A4 papers into 8 sections, copy the phrase into those sections, like each phrase will go into one section. While they're doing that, it's a good idea to discuss what each phrase means and have the learners draw a little picture on the same side of the card to show what this phrase means. Students will then cut up the cards when they're ready, mix them, and then you will be reading the story together, or they can be reading it on their own and putting the cards in the correct order. After you've done reading the story and maybe have gone over a couple of comprehension activities, you can ask the students to put away the story and use their cards to retell the story from those words and pictures. It also turned out to be quite fun to swap the decks of cards with maybe a neighbor or a partner and use those to retell the story using somebody else's pictures, which is a bit more challenging than maybe using your own pictures. So talking about text reconstruction activities, I was just here going to give an example of how the second activity worked. And the example here comes from a story, a non-fiction text that we took from Oxford Primary Skills, which is reading and writing. And here is a short text about schools and also rooms in a school and classes in a school. And after the students, here we go, right. So before the students got to read the text and understand what they should be talking about, we put a list of words. I put a list of words on the board. The students prepared their papers. They copied in the words into their little cards, cut them up, added pictures, and also were ready to work with the story. So this happens before, and then we would read the text where the learners will be able to see which words come in what order and to put their cards accordingly. After that, the text goes away and the learners will be retelling the story. that's pretty much all I wanted to share about text reconstruction activities. Again, probably the main takeaways I would like to highlight and you to take away from this is the role of fiction stories in creating a safer classroom space and creating like a more positive atmosphere, and also simple ideas for 2 text reconstruction activities. They're here in the presentation. You hopefully will be able to have a look there afterwards, and helping your learners with working with those stories. Thanks very much. Thank you.
Okay, Mars, thank you. Okay, great ideas and perfect timing. Okay, great. Professional speaker and teacher trainer. Okay, let's give a round of applause to Masha for her ideas. And so if you work with primary students, you know what to do next week. And probably you have got some books already, which you can read with your students. Okay, so much. If you can, so could you please just share your slides and maybe some information in the Telegram chat? Here it is, so that people could use them next week. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I will stop recording.